Well, hello everyone. Kirk Williamson with KPN Photo Tours. Today we've got a very, very special edition. We're working with the brand new Fuji XS10. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to show you the bundles that come with it. The 16 to 80, which I have on here, and the 18 to 55, which I have on there. Now, I got to tell you that this camera, not the lens, the camera has been loaned to me by Jim Eason from Avid Co Photography. I'll put the link down below here. What a great guy. He's really enjoying this little camera, and my limited experience with it so far has been that there's some quirks to it. It's a little bit above entry-level camera, but it's got some great features to it, and we're going to go over those right now. We're going to be using in documentary style. I'm going to show you how to hold the camera, how I hold it with my Peak Design modified strap here. This is a Leica strap that's been modified to work with the Peak Design. But it's a great camera. It's very, very light and easy to hold, and it's actually balanced very well with this 16 to 80 here, and I imagine that with that 18 to 55, which I'll also show you, is probably very well balanced as well. So off we go. I'm going to go find some things to shoot out here at Granite Pier in Rockport. It's a great little area. You know, we've got a lot of lobster traps, as you can see in the background. But I may go looking for some ice too. There's some ice around the corner here, and let's see what we get. So off we go. First of all, let's talk about how you hold the camera when you're walking around. Now, I learned as a photojournalist real early on that if you carry the camera like this, you're going to bump into a lot of things, just like this. The camera will knock into things like this very easily. So I always carry this like this. As you can see, the lens goes down the side like this. It really works well this way. I've had no trouble with it. The only problem that I've had in the past is maybe my eye cup will get knocked off. But with this camera, you don't have to worry about it because the eye cup is very small. Now, the other thing that we have to worry about is this lens going to drift down like this? See how, now most of these 16 to 80s are pretty good. This is mine all the way in at 16, it doesn't drift down at all. Once you get out to 35 though, it's going to drift down, see? Just like that. So you want to make sure that when you're carrying this lens and camera combination that you make sure that you have it all the way at 16 like this. It's pretty safe to carry like that. The other thing we want to work on is how we hold this lens and camera combination. Got a nice grip here now with this XS10. You want to make sure you get your hand underneath the lens like this. You know this tip from the 55 to 200 tip video that I did. Now, so as this lens goes out and zooms out like this, you have plenty of control. You don't want to be doing this, none of this going on. You want to make sure that you're holding it like this also. You don't want to grab the lens like this. You want to make sure that you're in a nice steady position. Really works well for taking shots of all sorts of things. The new dial on here, right up here on the top, is actually pretty close to what, you know, Canon and Sony and Nikon do. And I think that's where they're trying to appeal to folks that are coming from the DSLR range into these new mirrorless cameras. But I don't mind this. I mean, you know, I'm a Fuji guy, so I kind of like having my knobs on the top that I can adjust at any time. But I'm starting to get used to this a little bit. This, what do they call it? The Padma dial or whatever the heck it is. I've got mine set to aperture priority right now, so I can have all controls of my my aperture, and I can do my exposure compensation with this dial back here. And the way this camera works is it's a little bit different than the other ones, and it's got your ISO dial on the top, and it brings up a menu right on the screen, so it's pretty easy to adjust. It's just way different than having it down in the bottom right hand corner of your screen on your XT3 or your XT30, or I don't know if the XT4 probably as well. The Q menu comes up with a little button on top as well, and that's also a little bit strange to me, but you know, on my XT30, which is filming this right now, I hit that Q button all the time, and you know, it's probably not the best place in the world for it, but maybe this up top is better. I don't know. It's just muscle memory, and I'm trying to find out where the Q menu is, and you know, moving my fingers around on top. So it's a little bit different. Now, there's a ton of videos on YouTube that have to deal with how this camera is set up. So I'm not going to go into that too much. I'm going to go into the user experience and how I feel using it. Right now with gloves on in the 16-80, it's a little tight right here. My fingers are getting caught up on the 16-80, which is not really that wide a lens, but it's getting caught right in here. I am not really keen on that. I'm not going to drop the camera, but with gloves on, it's a little tight. So in the wintertime, you got to watch out for that. Okay, so let's talk about something else here. We're talking about OIS in the 16-80 and IBIS in this little box right here. Boy, it's great to have IBIS in a camera this small. It's awesome. They've shrunk it down so it fits nice. And it's a great little camera for that. And there's in the menu, it's changed from the XH1. I don't know about the XD4 because it may have the same menu, but they have continuous plus motion, they have continuous, they have shooting only, shooting plus motion, and off. So if you're going to use this camera on a tripod, you want to go into the menu and you want to shut off the IBIS because it'll shut off the OIS in this 16-80 as well. Now it's a little bit different with the 18 to 55. When you go in and shut that off, it's going to only shut off the camera, not the lens. So you got to shut it off on the lens. So I'm using this in shooting plus motion because you never know if I'm going to get a little jittery. You don't want it on continuous. You want to do that when you're shooting video, but it's quite different. I mean, I shouldn't say it's different. The IS mode is about the same. It just has 2 extra settings on it, which make things easier to use with this lens and camera combination and the 18 to 55 as well. So any lens that has the image stabilization or the OIS on a switch on the lens, you want to make sure that you turn it off if you've got it on a tripod, and you want to make sure that you turn off the IBIS in the camera as well. Now with the 16-80, that's great. You can just go in, shut it off, and it's off on both. So that works out pretty well. So let's, I'm going to go around and take some photographs and show you what I get. This is, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a conclusion at the end here. There's some quirks in here that I don't like at all, but overall, I'm having a good time with it. Yeah, I like this shot. Yeah, be an interesting shot. A little bit of crop on the left-hand side. This is a real interesting shot here. As you can see, we've got these buoys down below, but we've also got these really cool reflections, or I should say shadows, of the traps up top. Very interesting. So just like on my XD30 and my XD3, using this dial right here for the exposure compensation works really well. And it's basically set up to do that right from the start, which is kind of cool. Now, one of the other things that I really like about the way this camera is laid out is this button on top here controls, I love it, all the film simulations are right there in front of you. It's great. Ostia soft, I really like that. So using this top dial here, you control your film simulations, which is kind of cool. All right, shoot another one here. I love this. This is a great shot, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's beautiful. A lot of color here. Ostia soft's probably the perfect simulation for this. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right, so I'm going to switch lenses out. I'm going to go to the 18 to 55 and get some shots for you with that, and let you know how it fits in your hand with gloves on. That's the test here in the wintertime. So here we are with the 18 to 55. I really like this little lens. It's a beautiful lens, especially in combination with this camera. So as you can see here, the lens, the difference between your fingers, this is gloved hands, fits right in there with this grip. You know, the grip is great. With larger lenses, with gloves on, it's a problem. One of my biggest pet peeves with this camera, I thought, was to, the only way to get to the focusing point was to go through the menu. And to maneuver it around, you could do it with touch screen, but before, you used to be able to just punch that button in a couple of times, the jog dial in the back, and you get to it immediately. You can. All you got to do is just hit the jog dial sideways, and it comes up immediately. You can move it around. Very nice Fuji, very nice touch. So one of my pet peeves just went away. So here we are with the 18-55. I like it. It's, here you are holding it again underneath like this. And this lens tends to be a little bit stiffer. It will never drift down on you. And I always hold it the same way, I let it fall down on my side like this. It works great. And the way I have this set up is a little bit different from the 16-80 because this has the OIS switch on the side of the lens because it's an older lens. But we're going to take some shots here with this lens. I really like this lens. And now I know how to move that focus point around real easy. This is a great shot against the light like this. I really like this. It's nice. The drive setting dial is right here on the left-hand side, and it brings up all sorts of great things like still image, continuous low, continuous high. It also gives you a bunch of other settings that you would normally find in the dial that you would find on the top of the XT30. I really, really like this. This is so cool like this. Oh. Shadows are nice. Oh, it's even better. Very nice, very nice. Nothing like a sunken boat to make a good picture. Boy, I like this. It's kind of cool. Well, that's it for my little journey here with the Fuji XS10. I had a great time with it. No real big problems or anything. A little trouble with gloves, maybe, with the distance here between the grip and the different lenses. But other than that, I kind of like it. It's a nice little camera, and it's a departure really from Fuji because of the dials and everything are a little bit different, and the way you go through the menu is a little bit different. Of course, the flippy screen, which is nice, and the place for the microphone is right here, which is awesome, I think, because it stays out of the way of the screen. But other than that, overall, nice little camera. If you're just getting into Fuji, this is it right here. This whole rig right here, the camera and the lens, this 18-55 is a great little bundle. It's also a great bundle with the 16-80 as well. I really enjoy that lens, and I enjoyed it on this camera. Lots of fun. So that's it for this week, but you could help me out just a little bit. Go to my website, kpanphototours.com, because that's how I keep this channel going, is my workshops and my tours around here on Cape Ann. I would love it if you'd go and check out two great workshops. In June, we got the Lupine Waterfall Workshop up in Sugar Hill, New Hampshire, staying at the Inn at Sunset Hill. It's a lupines in the summer, beginning of the summer, spring, are beautiful up there. And of course the waterfalls are flowing. It's great. Got some great stuff. And then we're going to go to Maine with Fuji X photographer Bill Fortney. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to travel up the coast of Maine, and we're going to visit 8 or 9 lighthouses. I think you'll love it. So check it out. And that's it for this week, and we'll catch you next time.